VTR, October 14, 1980, take one.
The lives we live. The true life stories of 3 New York area women. Joyce Spector's an experienced New Yorker. She and her husband share a special partnership in their love and in their business. Joyce balances city life with the simplicity she finds at her country cabin. The most important hours in Linda Terry's life are spent with her son. She's also a graduate student at Columbia and an executive in adoption services. But first, she's Victor's mom. Nancy Tighe lives in Westchester with her 4 sons. Facing single parenthood after divorce, she's raising her family while struggling for her own independence. Nancy, Joyce, and Linda shared true and intimate experiences with each other. Real conversations touching the lives we live.
We're going to walk right through the cameras. Cameras, lights, everything. This is really...
Oh, it looks terrific. I love it.
Okay.
I love it, I love it, I love it, I love it.
Okay. We're here.
That's right.
Many months.
Little did we know.
It's
the
the Sullivan. It's gorgeous.
Gorgeous.
Okay. It feels like home. It really does. It has a good feeling about it. I feel good.
I'm on TV, you're on TV, she's on
I can't
TV.
believe I didn't know I was going to be on TV a couple months ago. My kids are excited about this whole thing.
I know.
Did we know? How many months ago was it in the newspaper? I didn't even see the ad.
I didn't see the
Did you
ad.
see
Wait a
the ad?
minute, whoop, wait a minute.
You mean
I
you carry
just
around-
happened, in my appointment
Good luck.
book, the day that we went, I cut out
The
the
ad?
ad. There you go.
There it is. With Bette Midler behind it.
Right, Bette Midler.
What does it say?
Here's your chance to host your own New York television talk show. TV experience is not necessary.
Definitely no
We all
TV
fit the bill, right?
Okay.
Interested. I was interested. What
I
interested you?
Well, let me tell you, I never did see that
I
myself.
have to tell you, I didn't either.
I didn't see it. My girlfriend called me up. I'm sitting there at the city, bored to tears. The phone rings, and it's my girlfriend, Beth. And she said, Linda, do you have the paper? Do you have the Times? And I said, no, not in front of me. She said, go get it. I ran, I got it. She said, turn to page, whatever, and there it was, that ad.
You
And she
actually
said,
did
"It's
see
fun."
it then.
I saw it
I
after she
never
said it.
even saw the ad.
You didn't see it at all?
Sandy called me up, and she said, Nancy, I've got a great thing. Let's do it. Let's go run for it. I said, run for what? What are we doing? She said, there's no experience necessary. I said, but where are we going? She said, I don't know. It's someplace on Broadway. I called up already. You go get yourself an appointment. I said, okay. Nothing else to do.
I didn't think
So
it was
I did.
legitimate. I was sure it was either something candid camera, maybe a porn film,
Oh, you
maybe
know-
a, cable TV, or it didn't sound legitimate. So I was interested.
You know why I was interested? Because it said no experience necessary. I said, finally,
I fit that bill.
something, no experience necessary. I could really work for no experience. Fantastic.
Yeah, well, we went.
Life
and,
experience necessary. Filled that
What
bill.
did you feel? I'll tell you. I answered that ad, and first of all, when I called, there's this lady with a light little voice saying, "Hello, Miss Ames," and I said, "I'd like to make an appointment for this," and she said, "Fine. How about tomorrow?" And I looked at my book, and I had a court appearance, and I said, "Nope, can't do that." And she said, "Well, how about Thursday?" And I said, "Fine." And she gave me the address, and it's at Times Square.
In a little school.
Yeah, a little
upstairs.
techie. Did not start off on the right
Oh.
What
track.
did you think when you came into that room with? I had 24 women. You were not in my original group of
I
women.
don't remember
no.
either one
No,
of
I
you.
think
No.
they had groups of God knows how many hundreds of women broken down in groups of 20
Right,
that they could.
25.
about that roughly.
Yeah.
I walked
Yeah.
in late. Walked in, checked out the scene as I walked in. Everybody was differently dressed. Some had sweaters on, some had leotards on. I had a suit on, looking like the executive woman. I thought maybe it's for the executive woman, not
It'll
knowing
help.
her. It'll help. Look good.
I was comfortable when I walked in because what pleased me was that there were so many many different types of women there, all sizes, ages, colors, this,
too.
that. And as we went around the room and started speaking about ourselves and introducing ourselves,
that how they did it for you
I said
too?
to myself, how are they going to pick women from all these women? I mean, we're all different.
But you know what? I didn't like the feeling that I didn't know what I was supposed to do.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
be yourself.
Right.
That was it. I
Be
said that,
myself.
what are they
That's
looking
great.
for? See, now
Yeah.
I was going
I
to try to
was trying to psych
outguess
them
them.
out. Me too,
I
me
said, now
too.
what are they looking for? And I sat down, I looked around the room, and there were these women, like you said, all sizes, shapes, colors, income brackets, everything was obvious.
Absolutely.
I sat there, and then they gave you these little, do they give you name
A name
tags?
tag, right,
I had on a
everybody does,
silk
yeah.
blouse, and there's this little lady again, here she comes with it, and she says, can I put this on your blouse? And I said, no, put it on my jacket,
They
please, don't
didn't
mess up
know
my
Linda
blouse.
then. Now we know.
Now you know. Okay, but still, no, there it was. And it was just unbelievable. And then they started going around asking you where you went to school and tell us about yourself. And I found out, well, I can hang in here. I mean,
Yeah, I
you
can
know.
talk about
We
myself.
didn't meet, though, till quite a ways down the line. I mean, this went on for weeks. It went on for months, actually,
Oh.
many months, and they kept eliminating.
We got down to 5 by a month, didn't we?
No.
I could look it
was-
up and
yes.
tell you exactly
Take
where
out
we
the
got,
book.
we got
No,
down to, but
as
it
I
was
remember,
months.
it was 9.5 weeks in total from beginning
Ooh,
to end. I
is
mean, you
that-
come back, and the one thing, I don't know about you two, I am not used to people not giving you some sort of a cue or sign. In social work, you look for signs. But this group of people, I mean, you sat there, you answered questions, they asked you all kinds of personal things, and then they said, thank you very much. Don't call us, we'll call you. And I said, fine.
What did you think when you went home? I said, oh, well, that was a neat experience. Met a
They'll
lot of
never
people.
call.
No,
Yeah.
I said,
I
well,
thought they'd never call.
I was glad I had gone, though. I said, well, I walked out to Fifth Avenue with 2 new friends. I said, if nothing else, I've met 2 new people. We've exchanged phone calls, and we said we'll call each other and let each other know. And I met them for lunch afterwards, and damn it, didn't I get a phone call when I got home the next morning from an appointment? I was so excited. I was nobody home to talk to. I was like, how do I share this with? I immediately got the dog and ran up to Murray Avenue School, and I took my kids out of the class. I said, guess what? You know what? I was called back.
I didn't tell anybody about
I
it.
didn't either.
I didn't tell a soul. I didn't
too.
tell my husband, no friends, nothing. I just figured, well, we know this isn't going to go very far,
so
so
let me
don't
keep it to
blow it
myself.
before you start it.
share
So I
it.
didn't tell a soul.
You shared it with your children. Now,
Oh,
I didn't share it with
immediately.
Victor, my son Victor. I mean, I figured I wasn't going to let him know his mommy was this flaky that she was trying to be on television, when in fact she does something totally different.
Yeah.
So I felt I was going to keep it to myself, except for sharing it with one friend who went also. She got a call back, and she called me and she said, did they call you yet? And I said, no. And I went to bed feeling kind of rejected. The next morning at the office,
when I got my
I
next
got my
one,
call, and they said, same little lady, hello, Linda.
We want
She
you
said,
back.
we want you back. And I hung up the phone and I said,
Oh, that was a big problem, though, because let's face it, we went back, it seemed to me like dozens
Endless.
of times,
Going back.
and I kept missing work. I mean, we run a business, we were moving our business, we were moving all over the place. I wasn't really earning a living the way I should have been, and I kept going up back to CBS and CBS
Back
and
and back.
CBS and
You know
CBS.
what? Let's go back and see the new living room. I've
Oh,
got to show
okay.
you. Let's see. My living room.
Joyce Spector, Linda Terry, and Nancy Targ talk about their unusual experiences during the selection process for The Lives We Live. Their stories after these messages.
My first session was different.
okay, you two, then I'll go to the other sessions. That's the way we'll do
I
it.
think so, too.
First, yours
you're gonna-
different, and I
okay.
go into other after it's...
You know, when the very first session, when we went, or 25 of us were in the room, a lot of the women were sharing their feelings of coming up the steps, and they thought that they were possibly going into, quote, a pornographic
They did,
display,
yeah.
and some of them were frightened, some of them were leery because it wasn't in the best neighborhood. I didn't have those feelings, only because my friend Sandy had been there the very first day, so I knew it was legit, and I had a feeling of at least security, but nothing else. Did that happen in your first session? I mean, did people share their fears about what they were answering?
It went kind of like, what did you think this is? This is before all the other CBS executives came in, and people were kind of talking about themselves, and this lady said to me, what do you do? And I told her what I did. She said, why are you here? And I said, well, you know, I figured out why not, you know, and she said, well, same for me. What do you think this really is? I said, it's probably a marketing survey. That's what I thought it was. I said, they have us here, and then they're going to ask us about some new product on television. I mean, it was really strange, and we did this. And then all of a sudden, in come all these men, 3, I think, to be exact. And
And
one
one
man, no, the woman was already in there.
okay,
She had given us
okay,
our name tags
okay,
and all that.
yeah.
And they said, we're going to start now. And this one gentleman, I looked down and I said, now, I know I shouldn't be here. He had one shoe on, one shoe off, and he said he had had a gout attack. And he
He's
couldn't wear
middle-aged,
his shoe. Yeah. And I wasn't sure about all this. I then started having some funny feelings on the inside. What about you?
Well, first of all, I didn't talk to a soul. I was a little embarrassed to be there. It was such a bold, outrageous thing to do, to answer that ad and actually make an appointment and go, that I was embarrassed by it. So I didn't tell a soul. I went there all by myself. I think I had on a raincoat. I know I stayed in the back, and I went in a corner, and we went into a room, same thing, about 25 people, and there was a lovely gal up front. Well, she looked very legitimate to me, and when she started talking,
She
my...
sounded legitimate.
Yeah, she
Yes,
sounded,
yeah,
exactly. She was, you know, very well-spoken, very serious. And so I started to relax a little. And then, you know, she said, well, I can't tell you anything about this. Then I started to unrelax a little, you know. I was, you know, wavering there. And finally, she, you know, gave us some very basic information about what it was. And she introduced these 2 executives from CBS. And then my heart started to go like this. I said, this is very serious stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And they wanted to know about my background. They gave us about maybe 30 seconds to say our whole life history, where we were. My life in 30 seconds?
No way.
No way. And I don't even know what I said, but it was something very simplified, recently divorced, and a mother of 4 children living in Westchester type thing. That's really all I could have a chance to say.
Vital information.
Yes,
Because they asked, I remember saying name, address, education, age, and marital status, I think. And then they said CBS, and then we were introduced. But what was interesting to me was that when they called back, okay? I mean, I go home, and they said, well, now, thank you. Don't call us, we'll call you. And they called.
Well, but it wasn't really that. It was if you don't get a call.
Oh, yeah.
It's
I didn't
over.
They didn't
expect-
call
I didn't
everybody.
expect a
They
call.
only,
Yeah.
they
Yes,
told
it
us right off
started
the
to
bat,
shrink.
they'd only call people that would be returning.
Yeah.
It was a little scary.
Well, the second time around, now when we started going back, and they changed the location. Now this, again, I'm still not too comfortable with this. They've changed the location, and now we're over on, what was it, 57th
Broadway.
Street or someplace
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that, another
yeah.
studio. And it was a smaller group. And now in comes all the machinery and technicians.
They said they were going to do audios
Yes.
and visuals.
And
they took us into a
videotaping.
room,
Right.
6 at a time or something, and they set us at a table.
Yeah.
And they asked us questions about our life again, and I said, we've been through this already. But then they started to bring out cards or something, and they had them all written down, all kinds of questions. Remember those questions?
Yeah.
I
I
remember
do.
those
I-
cards. Let me tell you something. When they weren't looking upstairs, I saw some of those cards.
You gotta be kidding.
No, I couldn't believe that I answered the most personal questions about myself in front of these strange men.
These are the cards?
These are some of the cards.
These are the cards that Jeff was, when I was supposed to look
Yes,
at the
okay,
camera.
now,
and
we're gonna
Jeff
pretend
was asking me these
I'm the big
personal
executive.
questions. Okay.
When women meet me, they're jealous of...
My gray hair. That's right, we had only 30 seconds.
That's right. You didn't have a lot of time to think of
No,
this.
you had to give right off like a running consciousness of what
That's
was
right,
happening.
and free flow.
Free
The
flow.
thing I remember most from my childhood is...
See, that's why I got the job. I'm a fast thinker.
I mean, they covered the spectrum. I mean, in looking through some of these, what birth control do you use? That's what I did too. I said, next, the basic problem with men is...
Ego.
Yeah,
You know, and then you didn't know how to
Let me give you
answer
an
this.
I'll I'll never forgive my mother for. Okay?
Not telling me the truth about love. I think
Okay.
that's what I said.
Okay. What other women dislike most about me is?
Nothing. I lie instantly.
Name one of your beliefs or opinions which you think would shock your friends, Doris.
I believe in total equality between men and women.
Okay.
See, that's why they chose you. You know, it's interesting. When you look at this and you look at some of the questions, I think it does give you a sense of maybe what some of the things they were looking for. We didn't know it
No,
then
it was
because
honesty.
it covered the
It
spectrum.
was
Don't you
honesty,
think
and
so?
it was thinking fast, and it was being very open and natural. I got tired of hearing, well, we just want you to be yourself.
Yes.
5,000 times we heard that.
Yes.
And then they asked me one question at one time, and I said, you know, I don't think I know anything about that. I said, you blew it, kiddo.
Yes.
You blew it. You'll never get back.
You know, well, even
That
in-
was my honest reaction. That
I
was-
think
it
it
was
was the
difficult, though.
honesty, the spontaneity. Didn't they give you newspaper clippings, like say
go
the
home and think about
headline? They cut out, I remember one of the headlines, it was about I think the refugees coming in from Cuba, and we had to look at it and discuss it. And, you know, it's like, do I really give my gut reaction to this, or am I afraid that they might be thinking she's not cosmopolitan enough? I mean, you just didn't know.
After they explained the concept to us, it was so simple that they wanted women to just sit around, be natural, talk openly and honestly about issues that they're involved with. It was so difficult to comprehend that because it is so simple.
And
Yeah.
it was so easy sitting in front of the camera as they took the audios and the visuals. It was just so
Well, it was
natural.
easy,
Except
except for certain questions, like what attracts me to other women is, and
their
you,
neat. I know what it is. Their neat appearance. Their really sophisticated look.
yes, but
Attracts me to
then,
other women? You're kidding.
Oh, I'm very.
let's
I'm
talk
really-
about that.
Yeah, I think it's very
Fancy.
impressive to see a woman well groomed and really spiffy looking.
Yeah, but what would, if you had been asked that, I don't know if you did, what would you have said right
I
off
like
the bat?
women that aren't too shy, that are very open and willing to talk. I like that. Because I can relate to that. I don't feel like they're hiding anything. I don't feel like they're putting on airs. You can tell when somebody's being honest and when somebody's,
Yeah, and they're really giving you a line.
Yeah. But, you know, what people really don't understand as we tell them is we started with Lord knows how many hundreds of people, and over a period of many months,
Right.
they started to drop by the wayside, and we were forming relationships with people. You'd go off for coffee after a session or something. You'd meet someone, and a week later or whatever, they weren't there. That was uncomfortable for me, because I felt the pressure. This was very serious stuff.
After a while, it got very serious. In the beginning,
Yes.
it was a lark and just
Yes.
to fill in time and to do something new and different. That's really why I started the whole thing. And then after we got down to about 12, I said, oh, I really think I'd like this now. I mean, I started to care.
Sense of competition became keen.
Fierce.
I was, even though, like you say, you're building relationships to some degree, I always was mindful of that competition. One of us or two of us are not going to be back here tomorrow, okay? So you can't get too friendly and chummy and all that, and we're the best of friends when I know that I want this. And
Our conversation with Joyce, Linda, and Nancy will continue in just a moment.
Into a session, and it really didn't trouble me, because I always think of what's the...
But you know, I can easily start with this. I feel so committed, though, after going through all of that. I mean, I don't know about the two of you, but my own personal makeup requires, for me to do anything in any intensity, I have to feel strongly about it. And I do for this show. After going through all that, having heard the concept, I think women are ready for what we are going to be doing.
Yeah, I'm very attracted to the whole concept of it because of the fact that I am a spontaneous person. I love impulsive things. I love to just get up and pack everybody up and go away for the weekend if that comes around, or go off into the woods for a trip or something. That's me. And this whole show is geared towards living for your honest inner side feelings, and that's really me. So it's like,
I'm also,
it's okay.
you know, I'm also tired of always hearing about how life should be and what we should do and how we should look and how we should feel. The three of us come from very different backgrounds. We have different lifestyles, different experiences, whatever. And our exchange, I think, is going to enable us to break down a lot of stereotypes. Because you look a certain way and live a certain place, that doesn't mean that you're going to think a certain way. And I think that the exchange, the honesty, the communication is typical of what we need a lot more of, not just in television, but in all forms. I mean, in the family, in the schools, in relationships.
I don't think I would have met a Linda or a Joyce in my regular everyday life.
I don't think
And
so.
I really think that's what's so important. And you probably wouldn't come across me, whatever I represent to you.
Yeah.
So we can share all of our thoughts, and I think that that's vital, so that other people can also cue into that and start thinking around what they think about things, and hopefully have some reaction to it.
I treasure the opportunity to meet people like you and to be able to have exchanges and hear how you feel.
Some of the things
I
we
mean-
talk about I've never verbalized before.
Yes,
That's true.
And
I
it's
agree.
making me grow as a person to expand even how I think or feel.
The television in my mind is that instant gratification. It is amusement. It is distraction. And rarely, and I'm not talking about documentaries where they research it and all that, do you see real people coming on talking about day-to-day problems. You do it in your personal life. You sit down with your friends and you say, oh, well, what about this? And she helps you through, and what about that? But you don't see that concept so much on television, except for soap operas that there's a script. But for you to take an inside look at my life and know how I am dealing with being a woman, being divorced, being a mother, and really hearing, and it's not all good.
Right.
And it's not all perfect, and there's a lot of pain. And I think that there are other women out there who want to know people on television have to empty the garbage.
No, we always feel that we're alone. Whenever we have a problem, we feel like we're the only one in the world experiencing it.
Yeah.
And I think if we're able to talk and express those emotions, that it won't seem as serious a problem. There are ways of solving it. There are ways of talking it out. There are ways of, you know,
That's
dealing
very
with it.
valid. A lot of my friends that are reacting to this, they say, how did you ever get this? Isn't it great? But they say, you know, I'm so glad you have this, Nancy. It's like, finally, a mother of 4 or a mother is valued just
Right.
because she is who she is. And I have a lot of fears, I do, for what's going to happen to my life and where I'm going to go. But I figure so much has changed. My whole life has been in a constant flux for the last 3 years, that one more change in what this show is going to do for me is okay. The divorce really set me on a road like I live from day to day. I don't know. I don't make any grand expectations of what's going to happen, and it's okay, because if I live through the divorce, I'm going to live through
Anything. Take it from someone who's been there, I agree.
Anything. So I feel good about it. I mean,
Yeah.
I feel ready to brave whatever.
We'll learn how Nancy coped with the collapse of her 14-year marriage tomorrow on The Lives We Live.
In a capable fashion, I worry about that and the time.
Join us again tomorrow when Nancy, Joyce, and Linda share more true and intimate experiences with each other. Real conversations touching the lives we live. This is Hal Sims speaking.